Hello YouTubers, and today I'm finally going to be reviewing this, which is the Amazon exclusive Bill action figure. Now, this thing was first teased by PillMackey just after Christmas 2017, but finally it's had a proper release, and, well, let's take a look at the figure, shall we? Just before we do, the packaging is exactly the same as most of the other Collect Series packaging. And it uses the previous Doctor Who logo from the Capaldi era slash late Matt Smith era. It's a nice lovely window box and the figure on the back, and there's also a load of information about Bill. If you'd like to read this information, then feel free to, but I cannot be asked. And we've also got a nice quote from Bill and some other information. Now, let's get the figure out of this box and take a look at it, shall we? Okay, so here we have Bill, and as you can see, she's in a costume from Smile, and it looks really good, actually. The head sculpt is exactly the same as the B&M Bill head sculpt, and I will go through, obviously, a comparison later on in this video. The bow is painted a slightly different colour, but other than that, the head and the paint apps are exactly the same there. Turning along to her torso and that, you can see that her costume has been repainted to match that from Smile. There is a slight little paint bleed and a slight little smudge on my one there. You can see also that her buttons have been just painted on rather than sculpted on, since this is using an existing, I believe, Primeval figure sculpt, which goes along with the arms and the hands and the rest of the figure. Going on to her jeans, this time they are painted just in a complete sort of matte black colour, which unfortunately does hide some of the finer details. Like, for example, you can see the pockets and sort of the belt loops and that going around the side, but if I put it into the light, you can still see it does still have the sculpt of the creases and everything which the previous figure had. Now, if we go on to her trainers just here, you can see they are, again, exactly the same as the previous one. But, you know, it is nice, and it's nice that they did actually sculpt some actual trainers for Bill to match her trainers that she wore in Series 10. But overall, that's basically it for what's new about the figure. If you'd like a more detailed review on the Bill action figure, then check out my 12th Doctor B&M 2018 set review, where I go into a lot more detail about this. But for now, let's just do a comparison between this Bill and the B&M version. Okay, so here we are. So on the left we have the 2018 B&M exclusive Bill from the 12th Doctor 3 pack, and on the right we've got the new Amazon exclusive release. And as you can see, they are very similar, however, there are a few subtle differences. For example, I noticed the skin, while the same colour, it seems to have more of a slight gloss effect on the Amazon exclusive version. Whereas the B&M version seems to have more of a matte, sort of almost chalky texture to its finish. You can see also here in the jeans how the B&M version, because of the sort of lighter denim wash that they've put over the top of that, helps to bring it out a lot better. As for the trainers themselves, well, this time the trainers are clean, whereas on the previous ones they were dirty. Also, the trainers, the leg on the B&M Bill figure seemed to be slightly longer than the other, but this doesn't seem to be the case with the Amazon exclusive version. So that's nice. Now, a major thing that I was complaining about all the 2018 B&M sets was their build quality. Basically, they were very rubbery, and has this build figure fixed it? Well, sort of. It's slightly less rubbery, though it is still fairly rubbery compared to figures from the past, which is irritating for one major thing. This figure is £12, is it £12.49 or £12.99 around that price. This figure, although you can't get it individually, you can get it as part of a 3-pack for £16.99. And to be honest, that is a much better deal than this. It is a much better deal. Also, just to note, the bows are nearly the same. Again, this one appears to be a slightly lighter, though that could again just be my one, I'm unsure. But you know, this one is, although the stripes going across aren't perfect, it is a much better deal to get a Bill figure with a couple of variants of figures that you may already have for the price that you could, you know, if you wanted to, you could sell them on or give them away or something. Then get this individually for nearly the same price. And in fact, unless you have basically Amazon Prime, then you will be paying about the same price because you'll obviously have to pay the delivery cost. Now, me personally, I didn't want to have to pay the delivery cost, so that's why I decided to buy 2 of these, one to keep in box and one to open. But seriously, it's not really worth it, to be honest. I wouldn't say you know this will be worth it, and also it isn't really much of a worthy variant. Obviously, out of the 2, I do prefer the Amazon exclusive version from Smart. I think it just pops out a bit nicer and it looks a bit better. But to be honest, for the money in that, I mean, why couldn't they have just made, if this was the jacketed version of Bill where she was wearing her denim jacket, if they did a variant like that, then I would say yes, that would be a worthy variant. But for a repaint, and a repaint which isn't, you know, the most majorly one, to be honest, the B&M version will suffice to most people. So to be honest, if you've got the B&M version and you're perfectly happy with that, I'd say easily skip on the Amazon version. There's not really, you know, enough to it. And also, no accessories or anything included with this figure either, which is again a disappointment. I'm not really sure what you could include with Bill, but to be honest, you know, something would be nice. And to be honest, if this had, say, removable arms where you could pop her jacket on and off, you know, that would just be enough to say, right, that's a worthy enough variant and it's worth the price of admission. And Amazon is also a bit of a weird place to have it exclusive to, and it's also a bit more expensive. If you know, it is only a few pound more than, say, the 12th Doctor figures and the 10th Doctor in Tuxedo that came out a few years ago. But they were £10 at retail, which was a really good price, whereas this one is obviously more expensive. Something I would also like to get onto is the packaging as well. So a few people, including Batman Marks, have said, oh, this is the last time we will ever see this style of packaging. And I'm just going to give my thoughts on that. I don't think it will be. And the reason, I've got 2 reasons for this. The first reason is that character options is lazy. We all know they are. They are extremely lazy. So to be honest, to, you know, completely do a redesign for the 5.5-inch line of packaging, I doubt it. But another reason is, and it's to do with what it says right here, collector's figure, collector's scale series. Yeah, they're really advertising the collectors, emphasising that. Whereas on the 13th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver and the 13th Doctor Adventure Doll, they're not saying that's a collector's item. Whereas with the 5.5-inch range of figures, they most certainly are. So with that character, the second reason, character are aware of the collector's market, and they're aware that the people that buy the 5.5-inch range of people is not children, but adult collectors, which is why they're constantly advertising it. I mean, when was the last time you actually saw some actual children go into a shop and actually buy some Doctor Who figures and that? I mean, to be honest, you rarely see anyone buying them other than collectors. And to be honest, Joe Public, you know, Doctor Who isn't something really they're as highly invested in anymore as much as they used to be. So that is another factor to consider as well. But I digress. Overall, I've said what I think of this figure. I do like it, I honestly do, though the thing is, I don't think it should have been released so close to this version, to be honest. I think that maybe this should have been saved maybe for a later B&M wave or set, or if character had released this before they released the B&M version, then I wouldn't have as much of a problem. If they actually managed to properly get them out there before the B&M version came out, then I would have probably liked it a lot more, because obviously at the time we hadn't had the B&M version. But the fact that we do, and it is still readily available, I would still recommend you go with that one. I mean, just taking a look at the two, you know, the paint apps and that on the B&M version, apart from the top, are still pretty damn good. So yeah, the B&M version is perfectly fine, perfectly serviceable, whereas the Amazon one, you know, it's still really nice, but I would say either wait for a price drop on the Amazon exclusive version, or if you haven't already picked up the B&M version, I would pick up that one, because obviously you're getting the 2 extra figures. I've explained this several times, but yeah, overall, that's it for this review. Sorry there was a little bit of a rankish bit in there, but I did have to really get that off my chest. And there's one last thing I'd like to say about this packaging, which irritates me. No tab with a hook on there on these ones. Now, obviously, this is probably because they're in an Amazon warehouse, so they don't need the hook to be hooked on store shelves. But this is just something that particularly irritates me, because I did want to hook one of these figures on my wall. Unfortunately, I can't do that now. Yes, I could technically get a hook to stick on the packaging, though I don't really want to do that, because I like to keep them as original as possible. So that is a slight irritation for me, you know, because yeah, I mean, I can understand why they didn't put the hook on there. It's an extra cost that they didn't need to bear, since obviously it's going to be on Amazon, so they're only ever going to be in their warehouses. But yeah, let me know if you have one of these and your one does have the hook on there, because I would like to know, but neither of mine do. So yeah, but anyway, that's it for this review. I swear that's it. I swear it's it. Done. Over. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.